For our first story of the day, we're going to be talking about Tajae Sharpe, a pickup by the Minnesota Vikings from free agency from the Tennessee Titans. Tajae Sharpe was a 3 receiver last year and played pretty good, and the Minnesota Vikings took him in and said they're going to use him as a 2 receiver alongside Adam Thielen. Now, they said that, and that's going to be a worst case scenario. That is not going to be a good thing if Tajae Sharpe is your 2 receiver. And here's why. Okay, the Minnesota Vikings, after the Stephon Diggs trade, have 12 picks in next year's draft, or this year's draft. That's insane. I mean, 2 picks in the first round, 22nd and 25th. We need a hit on one of these receivers, whether it's first round, second round. There is so many receivers in this draft that we need to be able to hit on. Second, third round, I wouldn't take one first round because of what we saw last year. And we need to hit on one of these receivers, and we want this receiver to be a 2 alongside Adam Thielen. Now, here's why. You look at your receivers right now. So, Adam Thielen, your 1 receiver. Yes, great. Tajae Sharpe, your 2. Pretty good 3. I wouldn't have him as a 2. BC, your 3. I wouldn't have him as a 3. I think BC would be a great 4 receiver. Step into the role if anyone gets injured. I think he pretty good and has a career ahead of him. BC has a long career ahead of him, and I think he will be a very solid 3 receiver in the coming years. I don't think he's a 3 receiver quite yet. It's only his second season too. So BC, after that, Chad Beebe. Chad Beebe, don't use him. I don't like Chad Beebe, at least from what I've seen so far. I think give him another shot on punt returning, but he's questionable too with his injuries. He's very injury prone. After that, you have Alexander Hollins, your 5. I love Hollins. I think Hollins is a great route runner. I don't think he's that great at catching. I think he has a promising career ahead of him, but he has to improve. Yeah, I don't see practice a lot, so I don't see them practice, so I can't really grade these next 2 people. So Davion Davis and Dylan Mitchell, 6 and 7, they're basically tied. They're both really young. Well, they're all young. Okay, out of all those receivers I just named, all of them are 25 and under outside of Adam Thielen, and that's not what you want. I mean, I know I've been saying you want to draft another wide receiver in this next draft, and I think it would be great to draft another wide receiver, but a wide receiver that's ready now, a wide receiver that can win now. So you look at last year's draft. Last year's draft, you had 4 receivers taken outside of the first round. Terry McLaurin, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, and DK Metcalf. Those 4 receivers were taken second and third and fourth round. They outperformed the receivers that were taken in the first round. Hollywood Brown, and N'Keal Harry. Not only were Hollywood Brown and N'Keal Harry taken in the first round before all those 4 receivers that outperformed them, but they went to better teams. N'Keal Harry went to the New England Patriots. Hollywood Brown went to the Baltimore Ravens. Those are better teams than these other 4 receivers went to. And these 4 receivers outperformed the ones taken in the first round. So what I'm saying is the Minnesota Vikings should not take a receiver in the first round. Now, this year is different. I think there's 5 receivers that are first round worthy for their picks. Now, however, because of how many roles the Minnesota Vikings need to fill, don't take a receiver first round. Trade out with one of those picks outside of the first round. I'd say trade out of the 25th pick. Pick up those 3rd, 4th round picks because of how many roles the Minnesota Vikings need to fill. I mean, outside of running backs, tight ends, and linebackers, the Minnesota Vikings need everybody. They need whoever the best player is available outside of those 3 positions. Like I said, the Minnesota Vikings have 12 picks in next year's draft. We need those 12 picks plus more. We need to trade out of the second round. No, I'd say keep the second round picks depending on who's available, but trade out of the first round with one of those picks because those 3rd, 4th round picks are so great when it comes to every position. Because you can hit on those 2nd, 3rd, 4th round picks just like you can hit on late first round picks. Early first round picks are a lot different because those are like the stars coming out of college usually. The late first round picks, not so much. And I think it would be the Minnesota Vikings need one of those late first round picks because I think there will be a good player available at 22nd, possibly Josh Jones. I don't know. Ross Blacklock. Well, he'll definitely be available. I wouldn't take that. A corner for sure. We need that 22nd pick because we need a star on defense, I'd say, or an offensive tackle. But in that second round, you could take a wide receiver if there's a great one available, which there will be. This is the greatest wide receiver class to ever. I saw a thing. Okay, don't quote me on this, but this is the greatest wide receiver draft class ever. And you can hit on those 2nd, 3rd, 4th round wide receivers. Now, in the first round, obviously, if Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb is available, take them. They're going to be available. I think there's 5 wide receivers that are worth the first round picks, although I think the Vikings should only take Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb because they're amazing. If they could, If the Vikings wanted those two receivers, which I don't know why they wouldn't, they would have to trade up. Though those two receivers are expected to be taken top 15. And outside of that, the other receivers I think are worth first round picks, and I think they will go late second round, or late first round, around where Minnesota Vikings are and where the Vikings could hit on them. And that would be Justin Jefferson. He's actually my third favorite wide receiver because Justin Jefferson is so amazing. He's such a great route runner, and I think he translates best into the NFL. He reminds me of Michael Thomas. And then beside that, T. Higgins from Clemson. I think he has more of a risk factor, but he also showed a lot of skill in college. And then after that, I would have Henry Ruggs, super fast receiver, also from Alabama. So he played both T. Higgins and Henry Ruggs played on amazing offenses and where the ball was given to a lot of people. Now Justin Jefferson played on LSU, who won the national championship for college, but they didn't have as many people to. I mean, well, he had Joe Burrow to work with, but he didn't have as many people to throw to as Clemson did and as Alabama did. So like I said, worst case scenario would be how it is right now. Adam Thielen, you're 1, Tajae Sharpe, you're 2, and then who cares about how the list is after that, but that's what you don't want. Now, the Vikings, best case scenario, Adam Thielen is your 1, and then your number 2 receiver is someone who's like a Terry McLaurin, A.J. Brown, Deebo Samuel, or DK Metcalf, who went second, third round and were huge hits and outperformed the receivers in the first round. Now, I don't think anyone's going to be like that this year just because the receivers in the first round are a lot better than they were last year. So whether I don't think anyone will outperform Jerry Jeudy or CeeDee Lamb. Could happen. I don't think it's very possible as it was last year. It's still okay if they kind of are close to that. I mean, Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb are some of the greatest wide receivers to ever come out of college. And then if they're even close to touching their skill level at the number 2 wide receiver position, 100% go for it. That is the best case scenario. Having your number 2 receiver be someone you didn't have to put up a lot of draft capital for. Also because if they end up failing, like we saw Laquan Treadwell fail, the worst thing that happened to Laquan Treadwell was getting taken in the first round because now no one likes him because he was taken in the first round. Wide receivers, you could take a wide receiver in the first round, and if they don't live up to their expectations, you don't want that. You want to use not a lot of draft capital on this player, on this number 2 receiver. So best case scenario, Adam Thielen, you're 1. Your new rookie receiver, you're 2. We saw this last year. A lot of these rookie receivers, great. Your 3 would have to be Tajae Sharpe. I think Tajae Sharpe is an amazing 3. We saw this in Tennessee. He's on a 1-year deal too. So Tajae Sharpe is really just a transitional piece. I know their plans are taking a receiver. So Tajae Sharpe is just a transitional piece. And then the year after that, you can have BC as your 3. I think BC would be a great 3. However, I don't want that this next season. It's only his second season in the NFL. He's still adjusting. When you take a receiver 7th round, they usually have years to adjust, or anywhere after the 4th round. So yeah, BC, I think, has a career ahead of him. I think he will be a great 3 in the future, and this future will probably be the 2021 season. So that's what I would like to see now. Don't give Tajae Sharpe another contract. Well, it's too early to say this. We're going to see how Tajae Sharpe plays. But have him as your 3 receiver, your slot receiver this next season, and then your number 2 receiver be your rookie receiver, Adam Thielen being your 1. Run a lot of 2 tight end sets. And your offense is looking great again. I mean, if you improve the guards and the left tackle, your offense is going to be unstoppable. So if you have any disagreements, any questions, anything, any feedback, let me know down below. And the questions are, do you think the Vikings should trade out of that 25th pick? I know Rick Spielman, and Rick Spielman, I really think he will. However, I don't know how it's going to end up. I mean, I've been surprised a lot with with the moves he's done before, and I think it would make a lot of sense for them to, because even with 12 picks, you need more picks than that because of how many roles the Vikings need to fill. And so let me know if you think this would be a great idea. If you think the Vikings should trade up in the first round and try to get Lamb or Jeudy, that would make a lot of sense. However, they would have to give up some of these picks. While you go down there to leave your comments, feedbacks, whatever, click that like button. It really helps out the channel. And as always,